America's a great nation. It's lived through these amazing events like the Civil War, the Great Depression. We remember the politicians, you know, we remember the people who are thrust into power and leave their legacy. But it's people that live through those events. It's people that die in those wars. It's people that build the bridges. The stories we tell are about those people, and not that many places tell those stories.
What we do here at the Tenement Museum is we collect the stories of ordinary new Americans, people starting their lives here, and see what they did to survive.
We're going to go into that building, 97 of Orchard. It was built at the same time as Lincoln was president.
It was important to me that the Tenement Museum become a storytelling museum. People remember stories much more than facts. If the facts are hung onto the tree of a story, they become relevant, they become memorable.
Ruth's genius was to identify an abandoned tenement, a condemned building, as a museum. In effect, to put up a sign and say, this is a place where we can tell America's most important story.
The mission of the museum is to engage people in the power of the past, to make them think about the present.
So, one flight up to Natalie Gumpertz's home. Follow me.
So we tell them the stories of the immigrants who lived at 97 Orchard, and in telling the stories of those immigrant families, we talk about the context of the time, what were the issues of the time.
By the 1900s, with all of these families coming in, all of these families working, we are looking at the largest Jewish city in the world. We are looking at the most densely populated place on Earth. Imagine how it looks outside. Well, let's take a look at what this block that we're just on looks like in 1898. So what I want to take is I want to take this little boy and I want to follow him. Because if we follow him, eventually he'll lead us to Harry Levine's garment factory.
Being in this space where ordinary families came and they adapted their traditions to America, they adapted their customs to America, there was something almost sacred about this, about thinking about how that played out in these spaces and how these people in turn, through their jobs, built the subways or built the unions or stitched the clothing that America wears. These were the people that were shaping New York history and American history.
It's much more relevant when you see where they lived, what they went through, humanize history.
What do you all think about the Schneider's home? Tight, cozy.
What the museum does that makes them different is that there is a storyteller kind of guiding people through our space.
Do you all see ways in which this couple, though, is kind of working toward the American dream or achieving the American dream?
As educators, we're here to facilitate, to create an environment in which conversation can happen.
You are every day involved and interacting with people, and if you're lucky, you will shift somebody's point of view about something, and that's really meaningful.
So this is what Bridget and Joseph's world is like, right? I'm gonna ask all of you, just from where you sit and from what you see, who are today's Irish? Who are today's outsiders?
After the last election, for instance, there was a lot of talk about how Hispanics are coming in and voting in a certain way, and there was a kind of a terror.
I had this Chinese immigrant who came, and after the tour, said, does anybody have anything to say about what they saw? And this Chinese woman, she goes, I never knew that this happened in New York in the past, and that people live this way, and now I see my own life in a completely different light.
We don't just talk about the past. We like people to think about the present and their own communities and what the experience is for immigrants living next door to them today.
The things we talk about here matter. Issues to do with national identity, civics. We tackle it every day in those tenement apartments.
It connects the present and the past. That you're now realizing the story continues and that maybe we still have work to do.